This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caribou Avenue. I'm Ashmaba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. Hamad Nkeba, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, the Gambia's representative at the funeral service for the late Queen Elizabeth II, is back in the country and spoke to QTV on the significance of the funeral. In a unanimous vote on Thursday, the National Assembly ratified the 2001 Unesco Convention on the Protection of the Underwater Cultural Heritage. The Supreme Islamic Council, in partnership with Al-Azhar University of Egypt, on Thursday held the official ceremony for the commencement of works for the building of the modern Arabic Language Center in the Gambia. In international news, today the 23rd of September is International Day of Sign Languages, celebrated across the world every year to raise awareness of the importance of sign language and human rights of people that are deaf. In sports news, Gambian forward Lamin Koli scored 2 goals in the Hungarian Cup in his side's 5-2 win last weekend. Those were main headlines, now the news in detail. As world leaders and dignitaries left London following last Monday's funeral service for the late Queen Elizabeth II, the Gambia's representative at the event, Hamad Nkeba, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, is back in the country and spoke to QTV's Alusise on the significance of attending the service and his sideline engagements.
Hamad Nkeba, the Gambia's Minister of Tourism and Culture, represented President Barrow and the government of the Gambia at the funeral service, which was attended by most world leaders, including President Joe Biden. Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign of almost 70 decades made her Britain's longest-serving monarch, died on September 8, 2022 at Balmoral Castle in Scotland at the age of 96. On his return to Banjul, Minister Bah told QTV that the Gambia being represented at the funeral service of Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth II, is significant and important, considering the Gambia's historical connection with Britain and the royal family. Both the late Queen Elizabeth II and the new King Charles III had visited the Gambia.
As you are aware, that the Gambia played a significant role in the Commonwealth, and we hold very high regards for that organization. The head of that organization was Her Majesty, the late Queen. Now it is Prince Charles III. So it was very important for President Barrow and the Gambian people to be represented in that funeral.
On the sidelines of the funeral service, Minister Bah also held other engagements, including meetings with world leaders and the Speaker of the British House of Commons, Honorable Sir Lindsay Hoyle, and they discussed possible areas of cooperation between the two parliaments and in domestic tourism promotion.
Interacted with a lot of heads of states. I think over 30-something heads of state were interacted, and including the United States President Joe Biden, where, of course, I myself took the opportunity, together with the Gambian High Commission, to London to thank Joe Biden for lifting the sanctions against our High Commissioner Fatou Bensouda, who was the former prosecutor of the ICC, that was imposed on her by the then President Donald Trump. And we send, on behalf of President Barrow, we really thank him for doing that. I also had a meeting with the Speaker of the British House of Commons, and I had a very successful meeting with him together with the High Commissioner there. And 2 things I raised with him, and I wanted him to really intervene to support, was how best they can support the Gambian National Assembly, to capacitize it, to help it with modern technology, training, resources for that matter, both material and human, and so that they can support our assembly. The other one was to discuss about restocking our wild park, our parks. And then that one also, he agreed to support. He connected us to a particular zoo that is specialized in this, that lives around where he lives. They've already supported Nepal and other countries, and he believes that we should be able to get support from them.
With a scheduled meeting in November later this year by the Gambia's High Commissioner in London, Minister Ba said they will use the meeting to further explore the possibility of restocking the country's parks with wildlife to promote tourism. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
In a unanimous vote on Thursday, the National Assembly ratified the 2001 UNESCO Convention on the Protection of the Underwater Cultural Heritage. The convention covers the protection of certain ancient materials that have been underwater for at least 100 years. Mahmoud Lamin Choi reports.
The Gambia has become the latest country to ratify a UNESCO convention that seeks to preserve and protect significant historical materials that have been lying underwater for at least a century. The 2001 UNESCO Underwater Cultural Heritage Convention provides the legal framework to regulate interference with underwater cultural heritage in international waters. In moving a motion to ratify the convention, the Tourism and Culture Minister, Hamad Nkeba, states why this is a necessity.
The Gambia needs to ratify this convention because of the following reasons. The Gambia and Gambia Atlantic coastal line contains rich underwater cultural heritage that attests at the ancient civilization of our people and its witnesses to historical relationship between the Gambian society and outsiders, including the Portuguese, the British, the French, the Spanish, the Dutch, etc. Underwater cultural heritage can include ancient shipwrecks in the River Gambia, including slave ships to the New World. Also the various wharves along the Gambia River during colonial rules.
Ratification of the convention qualifies the Gambia to benefit from a UNESCO development project for the preservation, protection and development of sites containing the Gambia's underwater cultural heritage.
Upon ratification, the Gambia will work with UNESCO to develop these sites to improve the tourism product in these rural areas, create jobs and restore cultural identity. Number two, the ratification by the Gambia of the convention will help to prevent looting and destruction of our underwater heritage, cultural heritage in this country, because the convention set high standards for the protection of this heritage.
The motion for the ratification of the 2001 UNESCO Convention on the Protection of Underwater Cultural Heritage has received overwhelming support from NAMS as manifested in the debate. NAMS for Nyanija and Tumana constituencies, Amadou Kamara and Fali Mkora, respectively, debate the importance of the convention.
Looking at the convention and looking at the objectives and general principles attached as presented here in the convention, definitely I think it will interest any honorable member to go through this, not by reading, but you go through this and read by yourself. That only will satisfy you, because they are all positive and they are all geared towards protecting the underwater cultural heritages that we have within.
As a member of the Select Committee for Culture under the leadership of Honorable Seguba, I'm going to task all of us to work hand in glove with the ministry to see to it that things are fast-tracked to make sure Gambians start seeing the benefits of the convention.
Let it be reflected positive sentiments of NAMS to diversify and develop the tourism industry. The motion for the ratification of the 2001 UNESCO Underwater Cultural Heritage was unanimously voted. Previously in this session, the Assembly had first readings of the Animal Health and the Gambia Public Buildings and Facilities Authority bills, which were introduced by the Minister for Transport, Works and Infrastructure. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The Supreme Islamic Council, in partnership with Al-Azhar University of Egypt, on Thursday held the official ceremony for the commencement of works for the building of a modern Arabic center, which will enhance Islamic knowledge and Arabic language in the Gambia. More in this report.
Described as a historic event by officials of the Supreme Islamic Council, Thursday's event also brought together officials from the main sponsors, the Egyptian Embassy in Dakar, and government officials. C.S.R. Dabo, President of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council, says the development will further boost and enhance learning of the Arabic language and Islamic knowledge not only for madrasa students but also for students in the conventional school systems as well as members of the public, and thanks the Egyptian Embassy for what he says is a worthy intervention.
We understand that language is very, very important to understand different sciences. So that's why learning Arabic will enable our students to learn even science in Arabic. That's why we are working with the Al-Azhar University for curriculum development, and this language is a starting for that project, but it's very, very important. And the other target group is our students who graduated from our senior secondary schools.
Anir Manzoor, Consul General at the Egyptian Embassy in Dakar, said the Egyptian government appreciates the cordial diplomatic ties it continues to enjoy with Banjul, adding that once completed, the center will serve as a learning hub for students and members of the public.
Current Egyptian President, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, has a vision to Africa, which is generally, I don't want to take a lot of your time, which is generally to boost the relation and cement the relation between Egypt, the Egyptian people and the Egyptian officials and the Egyptians, the Egyptian politicals and their brothers in Africa at all levels, economically and culturally and politically. So opening this center for teaching Arabic for non-speakers, for non-native speakers, is one of those dimensions of that vision.
Director of the Regional Education Directorate for Region 1, Usman Bah, on behalf of MOPSI, thanked the Egyptian Embassy for bringing what he says is a transformative project.
And I would like to, on behalf of the Minister, to thank all those people who are involved in this project, particularly the government of Egypt. It is a brotherly and sisterly country that has been having collaboration with this country, Gambia, for many years.
Egypt and the Gambia have over the years enjoyed strong bilateral ties, and the building of this massive project is expected to further strengthen the relationship. Ansumana Isonyasi for KTV News.
That story by Ansumana Isonyasi will lead us to a commercial break, but when we return we have local, sports as well as international. Do stay tuned.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News. Now, our eyes are among the most delicate organs in the human body and require special care and treatment. Early treatment is critically important to prevent common eye diseases from causing permanent vision loss or blindness. In this regard, Direct Aid, in collaboration with Al-Bazar International Foundation and National Eye Health Program, are offering free eye care services to the public at Wakote. Ajibintu Rami has more.
Operating for about 3 decades in the Gambia, Direct Aid has provided free eye care services to Gambia's rural and urban population. This 1-week eye camp will be used for cataract treatment as well as other conditions. Saja Kanyi, Program Manager with the Ministry of Health's National Eye Health Program, commends Direct Aid for their immense support throughout the years.
For you to perform a successful cataract surgery, you have to pay at least 1,500. That's almost a bag of rice. Imagine that is coming from a family and a partner who is coming over to say, I'm going to operate 500 to 600 cataracts. I think that's commendable, you know. It is taking a lot of burden from the government, from the people. And what we are emphasizing to our partners is to ensure that, you know, there is proper screening. Let the patients be screened properly. Those who can afford, those who are operatable, let them be operated. and they should ensure that they check the patients for their hypertension and diabetics to ensure that the patients are physically fit for surgery. Last year they have been here and they have done a very good surgery here, and they went to Farafanya where they did some of the operations at Farafanya Hospital. So far the reports from those operations have been very successful.
Fakhruddin Dakan, manager of the medical team with the Al-Basar International Foundation, urges people suffering from cataract blindness to come forward to benefit from this service.
There are so many patients suffering from the blindness which can be treated. We call it curable blindness. Mostly the patients suffering from the cataract blindness, they are operated free of charge here, and they are giving the best possible treatment here. Other patients suffering from the minor ailments like the allergy, minor infection, or the reading problem, those who are suffering from the age-related reading problem, we provide them the reading glasses free of cost.
Globally, of at least 1 billion or almost half of eye care cases, vision impairment could have been prevented or are yet to be addressed. Among the most prevalent causes of eye disease are age-related macular degeneration, AMD, cataract, diabetic retinopathy, and glaucoma. AMD is a painless eye condition which affects the small center part of your retina at the back of your eye, called the macula. It is the most common cause of sight loss in the developed world and third most common globally. As a first-time patient, Fatu Fofana came for the free eye care services. She says she hopes to cure her eyes as others have done. If you suspect your vision is failing or faulty, you should visit a doctor for advice and medication. When I suspected mine, I visited a doctor and I was given medicine to apply. But that was not very helpful. That is why I'm here again to try my luck. This provision of free eye care will be available for 1 week from 22nd September at the Bakwata Ibn Sina Health Center. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
That story will now lead us to international news. Now, International Day of Sign Languages is celebrated across the world on the 23rd of September every year to raise awareness of the importance of the sign language in full realization of the human rights of people who are deaf. Babukar Sise tells us more.
Sign languages are visual languages that pass your message using gestures or symbols. The International Day of Sign Languages is a unique opportunity to support and protect the linguistic identity and cultural diversity of all deaf people and other sign language users. The choice of 23rd September is the same date that the World Federation of the Deaf was established in 1951. In the Gambia, St. John's School for the Deaf was established to ensure deaf children could acquire quality education. Daniel Mendy, the school's principal, outlines how teaching sign language was introduced in the Gambia.
The school started in 1978. That was in the Mission House in Banjul, Hagan Street. This was where one missionary, an Irishman, took to the plight of wanting to help one deaf child communicate. And sooner or later, when the people that also have children that were affected by virtue of the fact that they have difficulty speaking, they also started bringing their own. And this was what exactly brought about the existence of the School for the Deaf. And then we saw the need to develop some kind of sign-supported language to enable the deaf pick up some understanding of what we're talking about through oralism and using the hand to reinforce the spoken word. So in 1994, we started that. So the concept was developed, and we were able to win the minds of the deaf who were actually here, and they were really highly committed, wanting to learn more.
According to the World Federation of the Deaf, there are more than 70 million deaf people worldwide. More than 80% of them live in developing countries. Collectively, they use more than 300 different sign languages. The theme for the 2022 International Day of Sign Languages is Sign Languages Unite Us. Deaf communities, governments, and civil society organizations maintain their collective efforts in fostering, promoting, and recognizing national sign languages as part of their country's vibrant and diverse linguistic landscapes. Mr. Mendy outlined some of the challenges faced by the deaf children.
About 3 buses are here. They're all grounded. We don't have the means to for the running cost and maintenance and so on. So they are here. Mobility is our biggest problem. Many times, if you notice, if you walk along the streets, you see the children trekking. Barely up to around 6 o'clock, you still see them walking, some of them. Because to board these public transports, they don't realize, because the deafness is not conspicuous. You don't see it in them. But the way they and manner they do things, then you suspect that this is a mumu. That's the name they give them.
The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities recognizes and promotes the use of sign languages. It makes clear that sign languages are equal in status to spoken languages and obligates state parties to facilitate the learning of sign languages and promote the linguistic identity of the deaf community. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
Now we look at sports news. Gambian forward Lamin Koli scored 2 goals in the Hungarian Cup in his side's 5-2 win last weekend. Our sports reporter Mahmoud Gajaga reports.
Lamin Koli scored twice in the 79th and 89th minute for Puskás Academia, a Hungarian First Division League club, in their 5-2 away victory against Haskavari in the 3rd round of the Magyar Cup, the equivalent of Hungary's FA Cup. Koli described how it felt to score for his new club.
Because it's my first couple goals I've scored for my new club. I'm very excited. You know, it's a new surrounding, new club, new country for me, and the way things are going is positive, and I'm just really excited to see how the season goes this year. You know, and hopefully a lot of success.
Puskás Academia signed Lamin Koli for 600,000 euros from Slovenian club FC Koper. The 28-year-old scored 10 goals for his former club in 34 league appearances. Lamin says he wants to build on this to improve his goal scoring.
I just have to keep working hard in training. When given the opportunities in the game, I have to make sure I do everything I can. Scoring goals is not easy as a striker, but I believe my qualities is not only scoring goals. I'm also good at holding the ball up. I'm also good at bringing in other players into play. I can cause a lot of trouble for defenders. At the end of the day, you know, winning as a team is most important, you know, but I would like to score more goals, and that is something that I'm working on. I think that's something that, you know, you have to be patient with, and just continue working hard, and goals will come. Goals will always come, you know.
Puskás Academia currently sit 4th in the Hungarian top division standings. The club played in the UEFA Europa Conference League and were eliminated by Victoria Setúbal of Portugal. Lamin is yet to have a call-up for the Gambia national team, the Scorpions. However, he says his dream is to play for his country someday. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
That's it for the news, but before we go, a recap of our main news headlines. The Gambia's representative at the funeral service for the late Queen Elizabeth II, Hamad Nkeba, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, is back in the country and spoke to QTV on the significance of the funeral. In a unanimous vote on Thursday, the National Assembly ratified the 2001 Unesco Convention on the Protection of the Underwater Cultural Heritage. The Supreme Islamic Council, in partnership with Al-Azhar University of Egypt, on Thursday held the official ceremony for the commencement of works for the building of a modern Arabic language center in the Gambia. In international news today, the 23rd of September is the International Day for the Sign Languages, celebrated across the world every year to raise awareness of the importance of sign language and human rights of the people who are deaf. In sports news, Gambian forward Lamin Koli scored 2 goals in the Hungary Cup in his side 5-2 win last weekend. That's all for this edition of the news. Thank you for watching, and we wish all our viewers a lovely weekend.